Hey guys, what is up? It's your boy Shifton here, back with another sports talk video. Got another one going, got the wrestling shirt on today. Let's just jump right in today with MLB news. The MLB season is trucking right along. We have some news here and there. We had some great plays. We had an inside the park walk-off by Cole Calhoun. We had some Angel stuff with Ohtani coming back in the lineup after his disastrous pitching performance against the A's, hitting a home run. We had many other events. But a notable event we had is with the virus. So the Marlins did have a real bad outbreak with the Phillies and all that, where they couldn't play and they were able to come back, and they played a couple games. They're going to do, I think, couple doubleheaders with the Phillies to get those games, the 60-game back. But now I know the Cardinals had a really bad outbreak with the Brewers. So the Brewers had to cancel their home opener with the Cardinals, and now they're going to be playing. And the Field of Dreams game was supposed to be Cardinals-White Sox on August 13th. Has been postponed. I don't know if it's still going on. It might have been canceled, but I think it's in a couple days. So it might happen, might not. Let's see. And other things, we had some injuries go on. But our biggest thing is that Mike Soroca had a really bad injury. I think a torn ACL, a torn ligament in his leg. It was in his knee somewhere, because it was kind of upsetting because he's a really young pitcher. I think he was top 3 in Rookie of the Year voting last year. He had a really good rookie season, and he is a great young pitcher, and sadly he won't be able to play this shortened season, which is very, very upsetting. That's really it for MLB news. Nothing really big. We do have those other moments like the Nick Markakis home run walk-off, the Kevin Newman walk-off. But I'm going to read you the current standings here for the MLB. So we're going to start off in the National League Central. The Chicago Cubs are leading the National League Central with the best record in the National League with 10 wins and 3 losses. The Milwaukee Brewers are in second place with 5 wins and 5 losses, followed by the St. Louis Cardinals with 2 wins and 3 losses. Cincinnati's in 4th with 5 wins and 8 losses, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are sadly for me in last with 3 wins and 10 losses. Tank for Kumar. In the East, the Miami Marlins, big shocker here, are in first place with 6 wins and 1 loss, followed by the Atlanta Braves with 9 wins and 5 losses. The Washington Nationals with third with 4 wins and 5 losses. The Philadelphia Phillies in 4th with 3 wins and 4 losses. And the New York Mets are in last with 5 wins and 8 losses. Now that division is a little messed up due to the games haven't been played, so that's why it's a little bit weird, and why there's more teams and 1 more games. In the National League West, the Colorado and Dodgers are battling for first. The Colorado's in first with 9 wins and 3 losses, followed by the LA Dodgers with 9 wins and 4 losses. The Padres are in third place with 7 wins and 6 losses, followed by the Giants with 6 wins and 8 losses, and the Diamondbacks are in last place with 5 wins and 8 losses. We're going to go over to the American League now, where we have the American League East, with the Yankees are in first place with 9 wins and 3 losses. Baltimore Orioles and the Tampa Bay Rays are tied for second, big shocker there, with 5 wins and 7 losses each. The Toronto Blue Jays are in 4th with 4 wins and 6 losses, followed by the Boston Red Sox in last with 4 wins and 8 losses. We go over to the American League Central, where we have a little bit of a shocker, but it's kind of a little bit of expected. I didn't really think they'd be in first place in the National League. The first team to get 10 wins in first in Central, we have the Minnesota Twins with 10 wins and 3 losses, followed by the Cleveland Indians with 8 wins and 6 losses. Chicago White Sox are in third with 7 wins and 6 losses. The Detroit Tigers are in 4th place with 5 wins and 5 losses, and the Kansas City Royals are in last place with 4 wins and 10 losses. In the West, the Oakland Athletics kind of not really. I think I predicted this, that the Astros weren't going to win the season, weren't going to get the division this year. I'm telling you, it's going to be Athletics. Athletics are in first with 9 wins and 4 losses. Oakland is in second. Houston is in second with 6 wins and 6 losses. The Angels are in third with 5 wins and 8 losses. But Seattle's creeping up on them with 5 wins and 9 losses. And the Texans are in last with 3 wins and 8 losses. So that's your standings for season. Some big shockers there. Some are really expected. That's really NBA news, or MLB news. Let's move it on to NBA news. NBA news, we are gearing up. We are getting to the NBA season. Now, the NBA season, a lot of the teams, or I think most teams actually, have secured their spot for the playoffs, as I think we are finalizing the final games for I think the regular season. I think that's correct. Yeah, the regular season. As we are going into the postseason games, and the postseason games are coming soon. So if we look at the standings here, I think this is it. No, this isn't it. Wait, I gotta find it. Here we go. So it says, in the standings, they start off in the Eastern Conference. So leading the Eastern Conference, they have secured their spot for the first seed. Is the Milwaukee Bucks with 55 wins and 14 losses. The Toronto Raptors are in second place. They have secured their spot for the second spot for the second seed with 49 wins and 18 losses. The Celtics are in third with their secured spot with 45 wins and 23 losses. The Heat are in fourth, their secured spot with 43 wins and 26 losses. The Indiana Pacers are in fifth with 42 wins and 27 losses. The Philadelphia 76ers have secured the sixth seed with 41 wins and 27 losses. The Brooklyn Nets are still battling with the Orlando Magic. They're both next to the seventh seed with 32 wins and 36 losses. While the Magic are very close with 32 wins and 37 losses. Neither of them have secured their spot. The Wizards are in last with 24 wins and 44 losses. They're not even making the playoffs. They're out. But there's very neck and neck between the Nets and the Magic. They are very close. They're playing pretty good, considering who they're playing against. But they're very close. I've seen times where the Magic have a higher seed, but I think both these teams are going to make it. But I think that those first seed counts because it could be Nets Bucks, it could be Bucks Magic, it could be Toronto Magic, it could be Toronto Nets. It's going to be really interesting. I'm excited to see what it's going to be. That's going to be really cool. Let's move it on. Now let's move it on here to the Lakers, or not the Lakers, the Western Conference. So the Lakers are in first. They've got the first seed with 51 wins and 17 losses. The Clippers are in second place. The Clippers have the second seed, secure with 46 wins and 22 losses. The Denver Nuggets have the third seed sealed with 45 wins and 24 losses. The Houston Rockets have the fourth seed secured with 43 wins and 25 losses. But they were tied. They had some tiebreaker stuff with the Utah Jazz at the same record, who had the fifth seed secured. The Oklahoma City Thunder have the sixth seed secured with 42 wins and 25 losses. The Dallas Mavericks had the 41st seed and 30th seed secured. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Portland Trail Blazers are battling it out for the eighth seed. The Memphis Grizzlies currently have the eighth seed with 32 wins and 37 losses, but the Portland Trail Blazers are coming back with 32 wins and 38 losses, followed by the Phoenix Suns with 30 wins and 39 losses. San Antonio Spurs with 29 and 38, and the Sacramento Kings and the New Orleans Pelicans both going 29 and 38. Now, a big shocker here is the New Orleans Pelicans are doing as bad as we thought they were. But I thought they would do better, and they would even may have a chance to take the seed. But I think that that this is very close because the seventh seed has already been secured with the Mavericks. It's Grizzlies, Port Trailblazers now, and it's very neck and neck. It's very close. It's very tight, and whoever wins, I'm a Grizzlies fan, so I'll be Grizzlies, but whoever wins, I think they are going to have a hard time facing the Lakers in the playoffs. So, in other NBA news, we had a great buzzer beater like you saw in the intro. Devin Booker with the Phoenix Suns had an insane buzzer beater. What a play. Damian Lillard had a great game. 45 points, 11 threes played. What a great game. And Ben Simmons is out due to some sort of knee injury he's had. Now, he is out indefinitely, but he's considering his options. See, maybe he could play the playoff, because I think it's going to be a loss for the Sixers indefinitely. I know LeBron is out with a groin issue, which would also be kind of a loss for the Lakers. But it's going to be very tough for the 76ers. Hope they can get him back on. That's really it for NBA news. We're very close to the playoffs. We're moving on to NHL news. The NHL news, we're started the playoffs. Playoffs started a couple days ago. And a lot of teams, or some teams, have secured their spot for the playoffs. They have their playoff spot ready. Or they have advanced, I should say. But let's read the playoffs. Now the seeding will be reseeded. The pairings will be reseeded following the first two rounds. Let's start off. Montreal Canadiens are leading the Penguins. Big shocker for me. with 2 wins and 1 losses. Carolina swept the Rangers within 3 games. The New York Islanders are beating Florida. Excuse me, there with 2 wins and 1 losses. The Columbus is beating in Toronto with 2 wins and 1 loss. Chicago is beating Edmonton with 2 wins and 1 loss. Arizona is beating Nashville with 2 wins and 1 loss. Vancouver is beating Minnesota with 2 wins and 1 loss. And Calgary defeated Winnipeg with 3 wins and 1 loss. So, a lot of games there. Some of them are very close to see if we could have the end of the season there. I am a big Penguins fan, so I really hope they don't. But a lot of teams are on the edge there. The Penguins are on the edge. The Penguins are on the edge. Florida's on the edge. Toronto's on the edge. Edmonton's on the edge. Nashville's on the edge. Minnesota's on the edge. So, yeah, this is very close. We're going to see. I think maybe we could see a lot of go to Game 5. There we have some other things like we had a bad collision, I think, in the Maple Leafs game. Tarzan is out. We had I know a lot of players are leaving because I know one player left because his wife just had a baby. But we are very close to the playoffs. We are getting there. And that's really it for NHL news. Not really big in NHL news. We're moving on to our NFL news. Not a lot of NFL news. Very minimum NFL news. All I really have is something that's kind of related to the NFL. But The Rock, with a group, purchased the XFL. Don't know what the XFL is. It was a league that was first created in I think back in 2001, by Vince McMahon, owner and CEO of the WWE. He tried to make like a WWE football kind of hybrid. It didn't really go too well, so it only had 1 season. But they bring it back. The past season, they played a couple games, and they had like maybe 4 or 5 weeks of playing. But the season was cut short and was canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic, and they didn't have enough money to continue a restart, so they had to cut the season completely and cut the XFL. But The Rock has purchased it from WWE, from Vince McMahon, hopefully to bring it back for another season. Hopefully, I think the same teams are going to be staying, because I'm a DC Defenders fan. Maybe we get some new teams, maybe we'll get completely different teams, but that's exciting. But another NFL news, I think it was around 60 to 65 players have opted out of the season, which is it's a good amount of players, to be honest. A lot of players are opting out due to the coronavirus pandemic and not want to play this year. There's probably going to be stuff like no fans this season, or even limited attendance. There's probably going to be definitely maybe even a short season, maybe like instead of 16 games, play 10 games, which I think would be very upsetting. Consider the NFL only plays like so many amount of games, or they try to play more games in a shorter amount of time. I don't know. But definitely, everything will look definitely different for the NFL season, considering what the NBA and NHL are doing. So it's all going to look different. That's really it for NFL news. Let's move on to wrestling news. We're starting off with AEW. AEW, we're going to the all-out pay-per-view where MJF has challenged in his new campaign Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. We're going to have some other rivalries that are going to happen. I feel like we're going to see Matt Cardona versus Cody for the TNT Championship. We're definitely going to see Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho, because we had the debate with the big shocker of Eric Bischoff, one of my favorite wrestling personas, come to AEW. We're probably going to see maybe like FTR versus Hangman and Omega for the tag team titles, the Dark Order versus the Young Bucks, and we're definitely going to see Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy in some sort of hardcore unsanctioned match. Now, I know he was recently reprimanded. He was punished, or he had a talking to for accidentally busting open Matt Hardy during this following Dynamite. I know he recently had a bad suspension for comments he made about Sasha Banks. I think a couple weeks ago, and he just recently came back from his suspension, and now he's in some more hot water again. And I know it wasn't really that bad of an issue. I know it was a complete accident because he threw a chair at him, but it was the wrong chair at him. Sorry, something's on my screen. So it was a complete accident, but he's still kind of being reprimanded by AEW themselves. Jon Moxley defeated Darby Allin when MJF interfered. So I think it's going to be an exciting match to see MJF and Jon Moxley go at it for the World Championship. But there's a rumor that AEW is holding off on doing big events and big stuff like this, or big moments, because they want it to have like the pop. They want to have fans back in attendance And I think WWE is doing the same thing because with the Drew McIntyre situation, because whenever you have stuff like Hulk Hogan came back, like either Denver, like when Hulk Hogan comes back in WrestleMania 21, save Eugene from Muhammad Hassan, that's a big pop. Or when The Rock came back to host WrestleMania 27, that's a big pop. When Goldberg first came back, or when Brock Lesnar came back in 2012, they want those big pop moments, but they can't get those pop moments because of the virus. They can't have fans in attendance in most areas, and the performance center trainings are being told who to cheer for. They're cheering for the faces. They're booing for the heels. Like when Roman Reigns comes out, they're, hey, it's Roman Reigns. Well, he's not really coming out, but if he did come out, they would cheer for him. But in reality, fans don't like Roman Reigns because he's overpushed. So when Roman Reigns comes out, they would boo him, and that's why there's no fan. That's why it's a problem. So maybe like a big moment like Jon Moxley losing his title, maybe, or a big wrestler coming from the WWE to AEW, like Goldberg going to AEW. Brock, but Dolph Ziggler, just something like that. They're holding it off for their audience for the big pop, and maybe they're still going to do stuff like that without fans in attendance. But for right now, it's definitely going to be maybe a lack of big moments. With WWE news, there's a lot of stuff with SummerSlam. SummerSlam is a big issue for WWE, and WWE already had to do WrestleMania Performance Center. They did have to have some cool cinematic matches. They did have to change a lot of things they did not want to change, or they did not want to do, but they had to. They had to force everything due to the pandemic. So they really don't want to do that for SummerSlam. They don't want to have it in Performance Center. But the rumored plan the current plan, so they're going to have it in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Now, a location has not been planned yet. There has been no location set. There has been nothing. Nothing has happened. So the plan is that if Vince McMahon wants to have it indoors, 25 people can be allowed in attendance. But if it's outdoors, 500 people can be in attendance. But that's with stuff like mask and social distancing and stuff like that. It's stuff that, they're not like they usually are. But it would be very different. Now, Vince McMahon would probably want to have it outside, considering how much more, 500 to 25 to 500 is massive difference. So he'd probably have it outside, but I think I know Vince McMahon really wants to have fans attendance. I think they really want to have it, but it's not the time right now, to really be honest. I mean, we're going through a global pandemic, and you can have it in different locations. You can have it outside. You can have it on a boat, like you're talking about. Don't have fans in attendance. You can have the Performance Center trainees. Don't have fans. Do not have that. You're already risking having the trainees. You're already risking having wrestlers wrestle. Just don't, In another WWE news, we had some new developments on Raw. We had some weird Nia Jax stuff, her getting suspended without pay. The Orton Drew McIntyre had a great promo. We had some Sasha Banks Bayley stuff. I don't want to talk about that because it's the feud that's never going to happen. I'm just convinced it's not going to happen anymore. Tomorrow, Asuka and Bayley are going to go one-on-one. If Asuka wins, it's going to be Sasha Banks Bayley, or Sasha Banks Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Why? They should have made it Asuka Shayna Baszler. Because Shayna Baszler needs to be Raw Women's Champion. She just needs to have the title on. She fits the role. Now the original plan was that she was going to win the Royal Rumble back in Houston, back in January. She was going to defeat Becky Lynch for the title, and then they scrapped it. Sasha won the Royal Rumble. Becky won her match. And then then Becky had to leave because she got pregnant. So then the Money in the Bank match became for the Raw Women's Championship. So maybe they had Shayna win and she became Raw Women's Champion. No. Asuka won. I think Asuka's overpushed personally. I think Shayna Baszler should definitely have the title for a good bit. Not Nia Jax. Just get Nia Jax out of the title picture. Just get her out of there. Don't even put her put her on Raw at this point, because she's probably the most unsafe worker right now, to really be honest with you. Put the title on Shayna. That's it for the women's situation. We had Liv Morgan finally come back on Raw after being just having a great push and then just being left out of the dust. And then we had some of kind of like a Riot Squad reunion as they teamed up against the Iconics to defeat them. So hopefully they can win the tag team titles and get it off of Bayley and Sasha, get that Sasha Banks Bayley feud going. And then we have some new interesting stuff with factions in WWE. So apparently there's a new faction called Retribution coming in WWE. Now, no members have been confirmed, but the rumored members are it's 2 girls, 1 and 3 guys. Now, the rumor is that one of the guys, or 2 of the guys, is Dominic Dijakovic and Shane Thorne, while one of the girls is Chelsea Green, all NXT call-ups. Now, I personally think that it's going to be Dominic Dijakovic, Shane Thorne, and there's a guy, I don't remember his name. He was a partner with Shane Thorne, and he was kind of left off the Raw, but there's a rumor that Vince McMahon wants to give him a good push. He's going to be on there, and I don't know who the other girl's going to be. Maybe it's going to be Aaliyah. I don't know who the other girl's going to be, but I think that's probably what the roster's going to look like. I know they made their kind of debut last night because they took out a generator. That's why we saw power outages during Apollo Crews' U.S. title match with MVP. And Mike's being cut out during the KO show with Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. So that's why it was kind of weird. That was the storyline. And then we also saw Shane McMahon come back to Raw and introduce a new segment on Raw called Raw Underground. It's Fight Club, but on Monday Night Raw. We essentially saw like Baba Tunde under a new name. Just take out people we don't know. No wrestlers we've seen. That's not like, Baba Tunde versus Dan Nathler or something like that. It's not like Baba Tunde versus Wanty Lauren. No, it's like Baba Tunde versus a guy we don't know. It's one of the Viking members versus a guy we don't know. It's, and then we have like Shelton Benjamin beat up a guy we don't know. Bobby Lashley beat up a guy we don't know. MVP beat up a guy, They should have actual matchups, because in this weird arena thing, it was interesting. It's kind of like an Attitude Era-esque thing, but I think it's pretty interesting. I'm actually excited to see what more it does with it. It definitely did boost up Raw's ratings since Raw's been having record lows recently. So that's good. Let's move on to their Wednesday night show, NXT. Now, NXT is very, very interesting right now. They're definitely having at the new NXT TakeOver 30, Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross. It's already happening for the NXT Championship, which I honestly think Karrion Kross is going to win the title from Keith Lee. Now, I personally think Keith Lee should have a longer reign of the title, but yeah, they're going to pull a Goldberg where he has the undefeated streak and stuff like that and lose it. Or maybe they'll pull an Asuka, like Asuka had an undefeated streak. She went to face Charlotte Flair at Mania, and she lost, so maybe they'll pull that. But I think it can go either way. But I think Karrion Kross is going to win and win the NXT Championship. And then we have the NXT North American ladder match. Now, the North American ladder match had Bronson Reed versus Dexter Lumis versus Damian Priest versus 6 other men. But now it was really Dexter Lumis. He was injured. He cannot wrestle. He won't be cleared in time for a takeover. So they're going to keep Bronson Reed. They're going to keep Damian Priest, but they're going to do I think everyone who lost, so Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano, Ridge Holland, Wanty Lauren, Timothy Thatcher, the people who lost will get more redemption and then be able to qualify for the ladder match for the North American Championship. I think Finn Balor is going to win it all. I honestly think he's going to win the title now, and that Dexter Lumis, they'll put him in a feud with Lumis for the title or something like that. I don't know who the other. I think the other participants will probably be like Ridge Holland, Finn Balor, and I know they said there's going to be a mystery opponent who's not been revealed yet, and probably the mystery opponent will be in there. Maybe the mystery opponent will win it. I don't know. I think it's going to go to Balor. I think Finn Balor will win it. And then they'll be putting a feud with Dexter Lumis. Imperium and Undisputed Era had a title match where Imperium retained. But here is... Now, if you don't know, there was a big incident where Adam Cole went on the Pat McAfee show. Pat McAfee pushed his buttons like he does, and Adam Cole retaliated, and then stormed out, pushed a guy, and then Pat McAfee was on NXT, kind of, to make amends to Adam Cole. And then they had a fight. They were screaming at each other, and then Pat McAfee punted Adam Cole in the head. Now you could tell that hurt. Considering he was an NFL punter, and you could see, I think, Shawn Michaels there checking on Adam Cole, but it has been confirmed since Triple H challenged on the behalf of Adam Cole, Pat McAfee, to do a match. Pat McAfee will go one-on-one with, I think, Adam Cole at NXT TakeOver 30. That's going to be a great match. I'm definitely watching that match as soon as it's on my TV. I'm watching that. That's going to look really good. I'm excited for it. That's really it for NXT news. Oh, wait, no. The women. Forgot about women on NXT. Io Shirai will take on Dakota Kai for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, as much as I would like to see Dakota Kai have the title, Io Shirai, who I think definitely deserves it because she, I think it was a shock that she won at NXT TakeOver in your house, but I think she is definitely going to go have some sort of match and retain, and then Dakota Kai might win later down the road. I think that's personally what's going to happen, but I think either way, I think either way they both deserve a shot at NXT Women's Championship. Now that's it for NXT. Let's move on to the blue brand, SmackDown. Now on SmackDown, we had some insane things happen on SmackDown. And we had AJ Styles and Grand Metalik. AJ Styles retained, but land of opportunity, that's good. We saw Shorty G turning heel. Big, because King Corbin said he has a King's Ransom who could ever defeat Matt Riddle. So everyone's challenging him. Now, there have been rumors that Danny Burch and Killian Dane are in some sort of feud with King Corbin, but that's definitely going to be for Matt Riddle for the King's Ransom. Shorty G's now heel. Shorty G used to be Chad Gable. I like Chad Gable. I liked him when he was with Shelton Benjamin. I liked him when he was with Jason Jordan. Then they ruined him by calling him Shorty G. Shorty G. I mean, he's a bad guy now. You can't call him like Chad Gable or like Chad or something like that. Don't call him Shorty G. It's a terrible name. Terrible name. It's bad. Get rid of it forever. Just get rid of it. We had a Bayley Nikki Cross match. Nikki Cross lost again, and Alexa Bliss tried to comfort her friend, like friends would do. And then Nikki pushed her and ran in the locker room. And the lights went out, and the Fiend showed up. The Fiend, because of course you had the whole Alexa Bliss weird thing at the Wyatt Swamp fight in Extreme Rules. Now it's the first time we've seen the Fiend in a ring or on a show that's not Firefly Funhouse, that's not a pay-per-view since. I think since, the past match. The last time we've seen him in a ring, a physical ring, was back when he defeated John Cena in a Firefly Final with back WrestleMania 36. And I think before that, it was the Super Showdown against Goldberg when he lost the Universal Championship. And then he kind of walked around, looked at Alexa Bliss, and then gave her the Mandible Claw. I mean, that was a big shocker moment for me. I didn't think they would even do that. But I don't know how Strowman's going to react. I know he's going to be on the Firefly Funhouse tonight. I know Sheamus takes on Matt Hardy tonight. I know Jeff Hardy takes on King Corbin again tonight. But what is going on, man? What's going on? I mean, what is going on? It's crazy. It's all crazy. We're going along to SummerSlam. But I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. That's all the news I got for you guys. I don't even know what video is going to be tomorrow. It's probably some Xbox thing. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.